RSV. Sound familiar? Well, if you're a parent with young children, you have more than likely heard about the virus.
But it doesn't just impact infants. Dr. Gorfinkle is with us this morning with a closer look at just how serious this virus can be. Dr. Gorfinkle, good morning to you. And let's start, I guess, just with the basics. For those who are not familiar, what exactly is RSV?
Respiratory syncytial virus. It's actually, who's ever even heard of this? But it happens to be one of the most common cold viruses. So how do you get it? There's that grandchild you love so much. Let's give them a big hug. So close contact, secretions shared, and surfaces, including their clothes, countertops, hard surfaces especially. And so what do? We touch the surface, we touch them, then we wipe our eyes, we wipe our nose, and we literally are injecting that virus right into us. And 7 days later, what happens? We get the cold symptoms, right? So this is familiar: fever, runny nose, sneezing, coughing. And the problem is that little kids especially are at risk because their airways are so tiny, they block up easily. And what happens? It's one of the most common causes. It is the most common cause of pneumonia in children in hospitals.
Okay. And for all the reasons also you mentioned, they're very susceptible because of just the way they play and the hands to mouth, constantly, lack of hand washing, all of that. But they're not the only ones susceptible.
Right, absolutely. In fact, most of the hospitalizations, we're talking some 98%, the deaths, not the hospitalizations, the deaths are in older people. People over 50. So that's why the nasty guidelines are these people should get vaccinated. We can do something to prevent it. So older people are at risk for a few reasons. Our immune system, not just our muscles, not just our skin, but our immune system is less able to respond to infections as we get older. And our lungs aren't the same either. They're not quite as elastic. The muscles aren't. We can't cough it out quite as well. So we're more likely to wind up in hospital. And what do you know? 2,000 Canadian adults do every year, and 1 out of 10 of them are going to succumb from that disease once they're in hospital from it.
All right, let's talk next then, if we could, about the prevention. And you just mentioned vaccines a moment ago. Is that our number one defense?
Oh, absolutely. Getting vaccinated is important, but let's not ignore the basics, right? Hand washing, masks, using air filters, all of this makes a difference. But of course, getting vaccinated. It's not that getting vaccinated is going to prevent somebody from getting the common cold. It won't. But it will go a long way to preventing them from winding up in a hospital bed with RSV.
Why don't we hear more about that? We know vaccines are available, but are we not hearing as much as we should?
It's just because it falls under the big umbrella of cold viruses. When was the last time you had a cold and you were checked for what virus it is? Yeah, we know from the research there's a good chance it's going to be RSV, but nobody's doing that kind of testing unless people wind up in hospital. So we know our hospital figures, but we don't know the figures on the outside. And the best clinician cannot tell the difference, incidentally, between influenza, a cold virus, and COVID-19. So it is important to get that vaccine in the arms. And so the essay says, let's get it in everybody over 50. But in reality, what's happening is that a lot of people are not getting vaccinated. We are an under-vaccinated population, and you can just go across the board. Talk to me about COVID. Talk to me about flu. Talk to me about pneumonia. We're under-vaccinated. Low-lying fruit.
All right, and if you are concerned or think you might have more than just a cold, you've got RSV, best to check with your physician, your family physician?
Absolutely. If those signals are coming, shortness of breath, high fever, any fever in an adult is always concerning. Kids are more likely to get fevers, but when we get them as adults, we got to take it seriously, get it checked.
Sure. All right, some important information from Dr. Gorfinkle here on this Friday morning when it comes to RSV. Dr. Gorfinkle, appreciate it as always.
Thank you.
This portion of the morning show is brought to you by GSK.